All right, I am super excited about this video. Before I tell you why I'm so excited though, this is a hideous color. It does not work well. I feel like I did a pretty terrible job color coding this session because I feel like I keep changing it. Goodness. Here. Let's do, but it's fine. Okay. Green and purple, whatever. Whatever. Okay, fine. I just go to there. Anyway, welcome back, my friend. So the reason I'm so excited about this video is because we're going to talk about a little thing or two things. We're going to talk about reverb and we are going to talk about delay. And what's cool is we're not just going to do that on, the vocals or the guitars. We are going to approach this part of the mixing process and we are going to zoom in and only talk about reverb and delay. We're only going to focus on reverbs and delays across all of the tracks across this entire mix. So let's do that. Now, first things first, remember way back when we started this mix and I said that I had a mix template, right? Which meant when I opened up the mix session, before there were any tracks, it looked like this, right? I had these folders, which are also buses, and I had some of those things set up in my template. That way, when I drag the tracks in, I can drag them into their respective folders. You already understand that. The thing we haven't talked about yet with regards to my template is my return tracks over here. So I've already talked about return tracks before. You probably know what a return track is, but if you don't, it's basically like sending a guitar before it goes through the amp. What does it go through? It goes through a pedal board often, right? So that's what this is kind of like. It's a little stop in between. And that stop, what's important about this is these tracks here, these 4 return tracks, do not have sound in of themselves. All they have is the effect. So it changes the sound. Whatever comes through it changes the sound. But these are just channels. They don't actually have audio tracks on them. These are activated by sending copies of whatever we want to send through them. And that's the best way of describing what happens when you send, say, a vocal to a reverb channel on a return track. Because as you can see here, we have these sends here, right? Sends. If I want to send this lead vocal to a reverb, I click right here. So we have a small plate reverb. And now, but I wish that I could wish you. What we're doing is we're basically taking a copy of this lead vocal and sending it to that small plate reverb over here. So the initial volume of this dry signal here on this lead vocal track, that stays the same. That doesn't change. We're sending a copy, a exact copy of this track to that plate reverb. And then this is why on return tracks, you always want your reverb or your delay to be at 100% mix. Otherwise, like there's no need to blend it in since you already have the dry signal from the original source. So that's just a quick overview of return tracks. And without going continually into the weeds here on return tracks, the biggest reason we do this is because it gives us more control over the specific reverb and delay sounds that we might want to use in our session. Along with another thing I'll add too is it helps us conserve CPU space because it means you need to use less plugins because now what we can do is if we have a reverb that we really like on the vocal, we can also send the guitars to that reverb and it's still only using one instance. So it really, really helps save on CPU and the processing power of your computer. And so now that we got that out of the way, let's actually do some work here and let's figure out what we want to do with the reverbs and delays. Now these 4 return tracks over here, or as they're called in Studio One, effects channels, they might be called something slightly different in your DAW, but it's all the same concept. These are just my defaults. So I have a small plate, which is Valhalla Vintage Verb. That's actually not that small. It's like a 2-second plate reverb. I've got a longer plate reverb using Little Plate by Sound Toys, and then I've got a couple delays here, a quarter note delay, and then a slapback delay here. And these are just, some basic things that I often use, so it just makes sense to have those ready to go in my template. But now let's actually dive in and let's figure out what kind of reverb sounds that we might want to add. Let's start with the vocal. The vocal is the most obvious place to start. So let's figure out at what point of the song we might want to start doing some work on it.
Wish that I could wish you back.
Yeah.
Why does everything always seem to fall apart? Why does everything always seem to fall apart?
Okay, those electric guitars are a little bit overwhelming right now. Just kind of overall turn these down a little bit. And then we'll address those again later. Okay, coming back to the lead vocal. Let's send this to that small plate and we might change the reverb settings on it. But now I'm basically looking for my core reverb sound. If I were to use only one reverb on this song, what would I use? I'm trying to find my main reverb, my number one reverb that is basically in the game. It's one of the stars of the show. And let's see if we can find a reverb sound that we really like.
Always seem to fall apart. Why does everything always seem to fall apart? It's so predictable, but I like to think we'd make it if we tried again. I just wish you were here again, and I just wish you were here. What a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you.
I love this sound. I am in love already with this reverb sound right here. Now we need to, I think, add some high cut, some low cut on here so that it's not quite as bright on the top end, especially.
Why does everything always seem to fall apart? Why does everything always seem to fall apart? It's so predictable, but I like to think we'd make it if we tried again. I just wish you were here again, and I just wish you were here. What a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was.
Now, just so you have an understanding of what I'm doing here with these adjustments is the pre-delay. What a pre-delay does is it, in essence, delays that reverb from hitting. So it helps when you turn up the pre-delay. What that's doing is it's separating that dry signal from the reverb, from when the reverb attack hits. Does that make sense? So because here it's kind of the dry and the reverb are kind of happening at the exact same time. Versus here, there's a little pause, and so it allows for that slight delineation between the dry vocal sound and that reverb vocal sound. And it helps, it just gives it a nice tone to it.
Wish that I could wish you back. Why does everything always seem to fall apart? Why does everything always seem to fall apart? It's so predictable.
Now, I don't necessarily know, though, that this is going to be our core reverb. This might be a reverb that is more the secondary reverb because it's one of those that I don't think you want too loud. It's got that dark, almost Lana Del Rey type of effect to it. And I don't know that I want that to be the core reverb sound of this song, but I like the sound. It really sounds good to me. And I might turn this into somewhat of an ambient mix, to be honest with you. Just because I feel like it. Just because it's fun. And that is a great start, right? As much as perhaps you could say, you could make the argument that, no, you want this to be super intimate and dry in the verse here, right?
It doesn't taste right. Even Coldplay doesn't sound right.
You can make that argument, of course, but I'm going to try one more thing on this reverb channel here. And this is, as I go and put sidechain in here, I need a compressor that I'm going to add to this chain. So what I'm doing here, this is another advantage of using return tracks. We have the reverb signal here, which is, this is actually the, like the long, I'm just going to call this the Lana reverb because it's that dark Lana Del Rey style reverb. What I'm going to do now is, since we have this reverb on its isolated chain, you can now add more plugins to it, right? And you can customize the sound even more. Now, what I'm doing here is I am going to connect and I'm going to sidechain this reverb signal, or I'm going to at least try it out. I'm going to sidechain it to the dry lead vocal track. So let's come over here to the lead vocal. We're going to sidechain it to that. And now what's going to happen is a ducking effect. So whenever that lead vocal is singing, this reverb is going to duck in volume so that it's basically, we're taking what I just talked about with the pre-delay and we're making it even more pronounced. So
Drive my car down
as I turn down this threshold, it's going to start to compress this reverb signal as it's listening to, because I set up the sidechain to listen to the lead vocal in real time and then compress this track as it's in response to listening to the lead vocal.
5, just a feeble attempt to feel something good. Cause oh, I just wish you were here again. And I just wish you were here. Oh, what colors are gone, the black and the white is all I see now. Even tequila doesn't taste right. Even Coldplay doesn't sound right. Drive my car down 25, just a feeble attempt to feel something good. Cause oh, I just wish you were here again.
The problem with doing this is I've always found it to be a bit of a struggle to find that sweet spot. Because I know I want that ducking effect, but it's really hard to make it sound natural, to make it sound like I want it to. And so let's see what we got here once again.
Now, even tequila doesn't taste right. Even Coldplay doesn't sound right. Drive my car down 25, just a feeble attempt to feel something good. Cause oh,
and it almost sounds like a delay, especially when you add the pre-delay plus that sidechain. You kind of hear that reverb after that dry lead vocal. I think I want to make this even longer of a decay time here, like super
just
long.
wish you were here again. And I just wish you were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it was stupid. Made a fool to fall apart. Why does everything good always seem to? I just wish what a time it was. And I just wish here again. And I just wish.
Okay. I actually like that. I really do. And now what I'm going to attempt to do, what I'm going to focus on now is see if we can make this reverb a multi-purposed reverb. Meaning, are there other tracks in this song that we can send to that same reverb? So let's see if there are other, even like entire buses perhaps, that we could send to it. So what would happen if we were to send the entire keys bus to that Lana reverb as well?
Just wish you were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time. photos on my phone, deleted them all except for one. Made a photograph just to have something physical to remain. Why does everything go always seem to fall apart? Why does it?
Yeah, I know that's not going to work to send all the guitars to that reverb, but I think it could work to send the keys bus to that reverb like we did over here. That could be cool.
Seem to fall apart. It's so predictable, but I like to think we'd make it if we tried again. I just wish you were here again, and I just wish you were here. What a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was.
So much reverb, right? But like I said, I think I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to make this super ambient and super fluttery and deep and just washy. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to have fun because I've kind of been having this kick anyway of late to really delve into more dream pop, shoegaze, ambient type of stuff. And I think I've just been kicking that of late, and I've been really enjoying it. So now that we have that reverb, let's try something else. And I'm going to start on this vocal again, because I think now we want to add some type of reverb that helps bring out the space in the high frequencies. Because as we've built this first reverb here, it's very, it's like this. It's just, whoa, it's completely blanketed, and it's just those lows and those mid frequencies that are popping through, and it's got that hollow cave type of sound to it. So now let's see what happens if we send this vocal to little plate, this large plate reverb over here.
Colors are gone, the black and the white is all I see now.
If we do that, we're going to have to make it shorter probably, because we don't need another long reverb, I don't think. And we'll have to turn up that low cut.
Even tequila doesn't taste right. Even Coldplay doesn't sound right. Drive my car down 25 just a
without
feeble attempt to feel something good. Cause I just wish you were here again. And I just wish.
I'm gonna try something here. Executive decision. No. I'm gonna try something here. Here, let's collapse this. I'm gonna turn this off for now, and I'm gonna add Valhalla Vintage Reverb. And I want to see what it sounds like if we add more of a room reverb to this instead of a plate. So let's come in here to the rooms and see if we can find something that sounds good.
Wish you were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it was stupid, but I wish that I could wish you here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it was stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. And I just wish you were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it was stupid, but I wish that I could wish you.
Okay, do we like that or do we like the plate reverb?
Back. And I just wish you were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was.
Okay, so here's what's happening. Here's the difference between this room reverb and the plate reverb, at least what I'm hearing. The plate reverb sounds more polished and sounds more mixed. But I think the room reverb's better. I do. I think it's better. It has more of an authentic feel to it. And I think if we blend that in with that Lana reverb, I think it's going to sound fantastic. Now, the volume at which the reverb is now is too much, so we need to dial that back. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to room reverb. That way it's labeled correctly. And then we just need to turn back the volume of it so it's not quite as loud. That way it's a bit more subtle.
Colors are gone, the black and the white is all I see now.
Now, one thing that I might want to do, and I always am on the watch, or I'm on the lookout for this whenever I have a reverb that I want the high frequencies to cut through, is I often make a cut up in this 3, 4, 5K range on the reverb channel itself. So again, we're not affecting, this EQ is not on the vocal, it is on the reverb signal itself, on that room reverb channel after the reverb. So we're affecting just the reverb signal. And so
even tequila doesn't taste right. Even Coldplay doesn't sound right.
Right here, we don't need as much of that. We don't need all that sheeness in that, or that harshness in the 2, 3K range there.
Feel something good, 'cause oh, I just wish you were here again.
And then just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to try to put a chorus on this room reverb just to see what it sounds like. And this is a cool plugin that I just happened to get for free from Sweetwater. I needed a plugin, and it was an Ozone plugin, and I bought that one, and then this came with it free. They were like running some type of special, and it's a cool chorus plugin.
And I just wish you were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time.
Okay, that could be interesting. So this is a mono preset, which means it's taking that reverb and it's adding the chorus to the reverb signal, and it's also making it's making that reverb signal mono as well. Very interesting. Oh my God, do I like this? So interesting.
But I wish that I could wish you. Why does everything good always seem to fall apart? Why does everything good always seem to fall apart?
I'm sold. That first reverb is already wide. Most of the reverbs and delays we're going to add are probably going to be pretty stereo. I'm a sucker for a mono reverb and a mono delay. I love how much it focuses the tone. It's beautiful. Listen to this.
It's so predictable, but I like to think we'd make it if we tried again. I just wish you were here.
Okay, that is really bothering me, by the way. I need to tune that. There's that one word here.
Just wish you.
That word wish, or just wish there. So I'm going to open up Melodyne real quick here and fix just that. I did tune this. That's actually probably something that was done off camera, because that was probably part of the original Step 7 that didn't get documented because I erased that and I'm redoing it. But there honestly wasn't that much to document anyway. It's basically just using a bit of auto-tune and then using Melodyne to fill in some gaps on some individual notes. So
even tequila does. Oh, I just wish you were here.
Okay.
Again. And on my phone, deleted finger. Oh, I just wish you were here.
Okay. Finally found it again. Okay, so this
just wish you
flat there. Let's make sure the time grid is not or wait, the pitch grid. Or wait, no, we're not doing time. Get your head in the game, Marcus.
just wish you I just wish you. I just wish you.
Also, this I think is a little flat, so it makes that sound flat as well.
I just wish you were here. I just wish you were here.
There we go. I like that. Fix that thing that was bothering me. So, okay, back to the reverb.
Feeble attempt to feel something good. 'Cause oh, I just wish you were here again. And I just wish you were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back. You were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back.
Okay, so now that we have that room reverb sounding pretty good, what I'm going to do is, again, see are there other tracks in this session that we want to send to that same reverb. See if we can make it a multi-purpose effect. And this, it might sound good on the kick, actually. Since it's a room reverb, right? Let's see what that sounds like. That's cool.
Why does everything always seem to fall apart? Why does everything always seem to fall apart? It's so
I think it's pretty good to have a little bit of room reverb on there. What about the bass? I want to be careful with reverbs on basses, but could add some life to it if we just add it in a very subtle way. Nah, I don't think it's really doing much, to be honest.
time it was.
Although the guitars bus probably would sound good.
Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I
And the keys bus as well.
could wish you back. These pictures on my phone, deleted them. Why does everything always seem to fall apart? Why does everything always seem to fall apart? It's so predictable, but I like to think we'd make it if we tried again.
I know this isn't connected to reverb, but it is bothering me. I need to do a little bit of EQ work on this vocal. Up in
Physical
something, I think in the 2K range or something.
Why does everything always seem to fall apart? Why does everything always seem to fall apart? It's so predictable, but I like to think we'd make it if we tried again. I just wish you were here again.
It's that range.
And I just wish you were here. What a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you
Okay, so we did that.
here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's
Yeah, I think that sounded pretty good for now. This isn't about EQ, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on that. So we've messed around with a room reverb here. Now, real quick, let's see if we can add a little bit of delay to this mix. Again, starting on that lead vocal. So I already have a quarter note delay on a return track. So let's start with that, see what it sounds like.
but I wish that I could wish you back. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back. Stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back. Time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back. But I wish that I could wish you back. Time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's stupid.
See, that's the key right there. Do you notice how the sound all of a sudden became vibey? It had to do because I turned down this EQ on this high cut here. Turn it all the way down to like 1.5K, 1500 hertz here, so that you get a super blanketed delay sound, and it just sits beautifully underneath that lead vocal, right? Because if you have all these high frequencies popping through on this delay, it kind of starts, it feels amateur, right? It just feels like a beginner made this song. But when you dial it in a little bit and bring that EQ down. And another thing I'm doing, and this is why I love Valhalla delay, it's not the only reason, but it's one of the big ones, and that is the ducking feature here. So I have this at 100%. So this is doing exactly what we did with the sidechain compression on that initial reverb, but it's built into the plugin itself here in Valhalla delay, so you don't even need to use an additional compressor. You can just use the ducking feature here, and it ducks this effect out of the way whenever there's the input signal from the vocal or whatever it is.
But I wish that I could wish you back.
And then that electric guitar track needs a delay. Let's see if that delay sounds good on it.
These pictures on my but I wish that I could wish you back. Wish you back.
Okay, it sounds good. The problem is that ducking knob is actually taking too much of that delay away for that electric guitar track. So what do I want to do here? Because I might just want to use automation.
I just wish you were here. Oh, what a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh,
I don't think I want to use automation necessarily. I think I'm going to leave that, and then instead I'll go ahead and create its own delay for this electric bends track over here. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put it directly on the track itself. You don't always have to use return tracks. Sometimes on individual tracks you can absolutely use reverbs or delays and then just adjust the mix knob.
these pictures on my phone, deleted them. But I wish that I could wish you back.
is like a reverb basically built into this delay plugin here with this diffusion, and the mod is turned up a little bit too much. That's why you get that weird phasing effect there. Let me turn that back a little bit.
These pictures.
Okay, now I'm going to switch this mode to duck tape, which allows us to use the ducking feature here. And I'm not going to go 100%, but I'm going to go a little bit so that it does create a little bit of difference there. On my phone, deleted them all. See, like there though, that delay is too present in the vocal. It's kind of muddying up the performance there. So what we need to do is use some automation. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, even though this isn't exactly, actually no, I'm gonna wait to do that. My ears are getting a little tired, to be honest with you anyway. So I'm just gonna turn it a little bit down for now.
Except for one.
So we have the effect. And then
a photograph just to have something physical to remain. Why does everything go always seem to fall apart? Why does it?
Okay, and then one more thing. This isn't even related to reverb or delay. I need to add some high crispiness to that vocal to make it pop through. So I'm gonna add a little color knob here in Sausage Fattener.
Everything good always seems to fall apart. It's so predictable, but I like to think everything good always seems to fall apart. It's so predictable, but I like to think we.
See, there's too much delay there, and we'll automate that to come in and out so that it is a more musical and pleasing performance there with this track.
But I wish that I just wish you were here. One time you want.
And here probably we'll automate those reverbs to really turn up. Something like that. Oh, that's going to be super fun. Once we get to the automation phase, I don't want to delve too much into the weeds and go, in 10 different directions in these videos. I'm going to try to keep them pretty focused. And so that is all I'm going to do for now when it comes to reverbs and delays. Once we get into step 5, or the last phase of this mixing process, which is the thumbs up, thumbs down technique, that is also often when I will go in and add a reverb here, a delay there, or I'll adjust a reverb or a delay that we've already built into the song. And so there is still time to edit these, to really dial these in. And again, the advantage, of course, is I'll have fresh ears the next time that I do try to adjust these reverbs and delays, which is going to help the overall quality of them, of those tracks to be better. So that is where I'm going to wrap up this video. That is reverbs and delays, a little crash course, and I had some fun. This was really fun. Reverbs and delays are a blast, so I hope you enjoyed it. Go have some fun yourself. Use whatever plugins you have and try out these techniques that I've been showing you. So I'll see you in the next one.